Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is that time yet again to get started, guys. Welcome to another London session. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. As always, guys, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening no matter where you are around the world. Hope you're all having a good one. Interesting, gold's continued up since yesterday. Hopefully some of you will maybe manage to get into some little cheeky sells, very similar to yesterday's on stream actually. The exact same type of result. So just quickly back some 10 pips, but don't be looking for further options. It wasn't a big win anyway, so that's 2-0 for the week. But anyway, guys, we'll have a look at both Gold GJ. From what I've heard, the tariffs have been postponed. So hence the bounce back in the markets of the equities as well. We've got the Nasdaq had a massive rally. Obviously the cryptos as well pumped off the back of that. So very volatile stuff, but we're just chilling at the moment by the looks of things. Gold, once again, what we've got is some big long big body candles, a lot of volume in these candles yet again, guys. Even if they don't look at, looking at that previous candle itself, that's well over 100 pips, so it could be a bit tricky yet again because of things like stop loss and that. So we will, however, nonetheless, we will do the analysis moving forward on both Gold GJ and any other pairs that you guys would like me to look at. I'll also look at GA and see if there's any possibilities trading GA. And yeah, let's have a good one, guys. Let's quickly look at the news to see what we have for our stream here today. Schedule wise, nothing scheduled for our particular stream. We've got some high impact news to come later for the Aussie dollar. It's an unusual time, and also for the US dollar CPI. So it's a big day for the US dollar yet again. Moving forward, tomorrow it's a Friday session, another big day also for the pound and again for the US dollar, so need to be again wary of the news and anything that could break in between. Anyway guys, let's have a go on. Let's just kill this music a bit for those of you on YouTube, and let's get underway. Let's start with gold. Guys, smash that like button. TikTok, you know, smash that screen for me. I will get to your questions and say good day to you all shortly. Right, so looking at gold, and we are forming a very strong bullish candle. We have broken low of the previous candle. We have since flipped off the back of the news. We are heading back up yet again towards the all-time high. Would not surprise me at all if we do end up creating a new all-time high yet again within the current weekly candle. So very strong bullish in the weekly. Daily counter probabilities to the upside. Structure is still, the way I see it, technically bearish and won't actually flip back until we close back above the all-time high. But irrespective, we are trading very strong bullish with those counter probabilities being to the upside. It's just marking the current daily candles low though, seeing we do have that higher high, higher low, and we have pretty much tapped into the resistance here to the left. Potentially could be a reversal point, so if we were to break the current daily candles low, we'll look to see if and what sort of catalyst we may have below that point there for some potential entries to perhaps sell it. Onto the 4-hour time frame, that has also flipped back bullish. We are currently at a resistance on the 4-hour, but we are however bullish in structure. We've got most recent support at this point here, so a bit below the daily low. Above, it looks like we've got some pretty clean traffic above that high here at 31.3670. We'll see what it looks like on the lower time frames, but we are technically bullish as well on the 4-hour. Now onto the all important 30 and 15 minute time frames, and they are definitely bullish in structure. So as we can see, we're hard pressed against this high time frame resistance here. Let's quickly to hone in on the zone. Let's go down to the 15 minute time frame, and we'll probably just focus on a more recent sort of price action, knowing that we've got that to the left hand side that we need to begin to really pop above in order to get into clean traffic again. If we were to look for continuation trades, definitely above that 31.3670 appears to be the better option. All right, so we've just since rejected once again. I managed to just quickly get 10, but what I'm seeing just now, it's very tricky selling gold at the moment. You have to be super quick with managing it, not being greedy as well, because it just tends to keep making these minor pullbacks and ends up trending back bullish. So perhaps that's what we could do just now. Not yet formed the support, but looks like we may do so. I'll prematurely draw it in. However, so what I'd be looking for right now is, well, the preference is still the buys. However, we're at the resistance, so it's kind of difficult to buy it into it unless we begin to pop above it. So definitely looking for the buys above the highs here at 31.3670 on continuation above that resistance to the left hand side. If we do form support just now and we were to begin to pop below it, the good thing is that we would have confirmed first of all the lower low and potentially the lower high. If this is just to be a pause and we are to head back down, I would then trust the potential pullback trade a little bit more against the actual bias. So definitely want to see a closure below at this point, closure below 31.1284 for sells in anticipation, taking it down towards, first of all, 31 flat would be a really nice target. Potentially it could come all the way back down towards that 30, 80 sort of region. So for me, that's probably what I'll be looking at for the time being. If we do, however, form a catalyst without making a move back up in the next few minutes, I mean, catalyst will require another 15-minute candle after this one. But if it was to present where we have a 30-minute candle closing back bullish, or okay, we're a little bit away from that, but if we were to have this candle closing bullish followed by a weak bearish pause on the next M15, forming that minor resistance after creating support, I may look to execute a buy based off that, take it back up to the high, so long as I do have enough margin to do so, and so long as the stop loss isn't going to be a huge one, which has been the issue all week on gold. So we could look for the buys lower down. However, the preference, just based on where we're at, I would prefer to look for the sells. But I still would be, again, I just need to wait for a little bit more data to print if I am to perhaps get in some buys. We're just popping straight up right now, so very difficult. Looking on the 30, it is an absolute mess. Just real choppy price action. Got candles creating lower lows, higher highs, and it's all over the shop. So nothing wrong with waiting a little bit longer for it to print more data and perhaps give us something a little more cleaner. For the sells, if we do reject yet again the highs, possibly I may possibly consider a sell from higher up if we have a really strong catalyst to do so. Once again, would be very risky trading against the trend. That is my opinion of gold. Make of that what you will. If you did like it, even if you didn't, make sure to hit that like button. YouTube and you guys on TikTok, smash that screen for me. And let's have a look at GJ, and just consolidating right now. But as far as some levels to get involved with, definitely got some clean areas on GJ, which is good. So let's do the top down. And once again, we're starting in that weekly time frame. We do have a candle at the minute forming bearish. It has pulled back quite significantly within its own candle, but we do have that lower high, lower low, back above some support here to the left. So that 187 flat towards that 188.50, 189 sort of level seems to be a pretty strong level of support here on GJ. So weak bearish on the weekly. The daily structure is still bearish, but look at that for a signal. Got a liquidity candle here, we broke low of the previous candle, only to eventually engulf it to the upside, closing strong bullish. So based off that, and we are back above some support here to the left, if we were to begin to break the high of that previous daily candle, there'd be a high probability we could continue to make a deeper pullback into the range above. However, let's also mark in the daily low and see if we've got what sort of support we've got that point there, and what potentially we could be looking at if we were to look for a sell. 4-hour structure. Look, if you're really technical about it, you could argue it's flipped bullish. It's closed above this swing point here. I'd kind of include this whole swing point in general with this wick being the high. So look, I can't sit in the fence. I'm just going to call it bullish. I'm going to call it bullish because that is the actual swing point. So I'm saying we're bullish, but we're at resistance nonetheless. So once again, always ask yourself where we are on the chart. And even though we are bullish on this particular time frame, we are at the resistance. We did reject it. Recently formed a weak support in a 4-hour. Based off that, looks pretty good to the downside if we were to begin to pop below what is also the current daily candles low after rejecting that 4-hour resistance here to the left. So that looks to be so far a very good entry point for potential sells. So we've got the daily structure as bearish with counter probabilities to the upside. We've got the weekly as bearish, we've got the 4-hour as bullish, and the M30 is also technically bullish in structure. So therefore, the way I see it, neutral bias and just consolidating on the 30 and 15. We've got resistance just obviously at the highest of the consolidation. Right, very simple on GJ here today. What I'd be waiting for, seeing we're coming from consolidation, need to wait for a closure either above, retest. As soon as we get the retest, I could look for an entry, or closure below, retest. As soon as I get the retest, I can set potential sell order as well. So coming from consolidation, I do not take any impulse trades. I mean, it's reckless, because what you're best to do in this situation is just let it provide that catalyst, move away from the consolidation, retest it, and then if it is to continue bullish, it's a more probable entry, or to the downside, continue bearish after retesting. In my opinion, it is more probable. So potential buys above the consolidation and potential sells below it. And the preference would definitely be the 30. Definitely would be the 30. Because the 30 just keeps on rejecting the resistance here. So we'll wait and see on GJ. And yeah, gold at the moment. A little bit tricky. A little bit tricky. All good. Quickly look at GA. GA looking like it's starting to, wow, it's made a pretty significant pullback. Let's quickly look at day, weekly. Candle probabilities are in fact to the upside. We do have a higher low, higher high, but we are rejecting quite strongly at the moment. So there's been a big sell-off on GA. Been a lot of strength in the Aussie since the announcement of the tariffs being postponed. Good for me. However, daily structure is bullish. Do have a lower high, lower low to the previous. Therefore, if we were now to continue bearish, there is really not much of a need for us to pull back and break our own high. If we do so, perhaps after tapping into previous resistance here to the left, it could be a potential reversal point in line with the structure itself. Counter probabilities having been to the downside at the moment. 4-hour structure is bullish, and it will remain bullish as long as we remain above this support. So we still have a bit of margin to that level of support at the moment. The resistance most recent is at the current daily candles high, so it looks like again decent entry point for the buyers. The M30 is definitely bearish in structure. All right, so the back of that, you could still be looking for options to buy it. The sells, I mean, it's just created a decent option recently. You probably want to mark that in to see what happens if and when price does in fact retest it. So let's just change that to blue. And if it does form support now, potentially could have continuation sells moving forward. We still have a bit of margin down to this next level here at 206,920. But yeah, for me, I'll be looking for the sells. However, if we were to begin to pop back above this support with most recently formed resistance at around this 2.07950 level, we were to close above it, would be enough of a catalyst to look for a buy back up towards the daily high. Let's quickly look at GA. Look at GJ yet again, rejecting. So we'll keep an eye on both GJ and gold. Let's have a good one, guys. Hopefully you've had a good week, and let me say good day to you all. Been a very tricky one. If I didn't have trade management tool, I probably would have got wrecked on both occasions, but I managed to secure on both occasions because gold has just been so quick with its moves. YouTube, g'day Tony Gold as always. Tommy Jordan, hope you're well, brother. Lau, good morning to you. Appreciate you. Carl F as always, and oh man, again, appreciate you. Thank you. Yes, do give the stream a like. TikTok, welcome one and all. Thank you to the new followers already. Anna, hi, what to buy right now? DAX for any crypto? Look, none of this is investment advice. I'm a trader. I have some very strict rules that I can't just buy something I feel it might go up. DAX, I think it's a pretty good entry point to buy it from. That's above this 21.26.8. That will be my entry point for a buy. Otherwise, lower down 21.05. Yeah, that's what I'd be looking at for the DAX. Crypto, obviously moved quite substantially to the upside off the back of the news. Bitcoin, entry point, we could have one in 7.5 minutes, 7 minutes and 40 seconds, as long as it doesn't make the move up to the resistance here. You've got a pause candle, pausing out of previous support here to the left. If it is to be engulfed, could get a quick scalp up towards the resistance here at 82.50. Otherwise, buys from low down, sells below that point as well. So buys from above 81.60, sells below 81.50. on, been waiting to ask, how did you know the gold was not selling and you exited? It's just pure based on pure trade management that I follow for every trade, and also the fact that it's in a pretty strong uptrend. So against the trend, you have to be really quick and not greedy at all. You can't be greedy when something is in such a big solid move to the upside. So by having an EA toolkit, I could just quickly, when it gets to that 10 plus or whatever, I can just quickly exit the trade. All I have to do is quickly click the button, and that's it. So, I mean, you could do it on your terminal too, but if you do it also on your phone, it's a pain in the backside, to be honest. It's a lot easier if you've got an EA toolkit connected to your MetaTrader. I always say to my guys, counter trend, don't be greedy. Secure your 10, be happy with that. If you want to leave a small runner, go for it, but don't be greedy because it could continue in line with the trend. GJ right now looking like it could finally make a move above. Keeps rejecting though, so you need confirmations. All right, what else? Jay, you can do it as you please. What are you in reference to? Too late to what? Tobes, this is Trading View. Mr. Ben, 31.43 on gold. Yep. And gold got a fair bit of resistance to break through. If it does break through it, I think 31.50 is a pretty good target. Raw meat, this is currently gold. Sorry, I should center it, shouldn't I? Abdullah, can I look at S&P 500? I can. Same as NAS, very similar. Big bounce since the announcement of the tariffs being delayed. Weekly does have a lower high, lower low, but has since now formed strong bullish. Closed strong bullish in a daily. Counter probabilities are to the upside. So let's just mark in the high and the low of the daily candle. See what we've got either side of it. Structure wise, it definitely is bearish, but based off that strong engulfing candle, I look for either pullbacks just based off the high time frames, pullbacks within this candle to look for support to form, potentially back to that upper wick at the highest point of the upper wick of that bearish candle for support to form to take a buy back up, or potential buyers above the high onto the 4 hour. Would still consider it to be bearish. However, that previous candle does show quite a bit of exhaustion to the downside, having left a long upper wick. So let's just mark in the high of that candle and let's work our way down quickly to the 30. All right, perfect. That is a really nice entry point for a buy. I'd be now waiting for the 15 or the 30 to close above, and to the downside I'd be waiting for price to pop at 5,407.50. Retest continuation, same thing to the upside. That would be my personal opinion of S&P 500. And buys, it is still going to be technically bullish in the M30, so buys above 5,330 if price was to eventually make the move back down to form support above that point there. Very simple. Again, it's still above that wick that I spoke about from a few days back that price potentially could pull back to. There's another method I do use to gauge strength, and we could use the fib and mark in the 50%. Yeah, so it's above the 50, so that would be a pretty good pullback point at 52.70 sort of region, where I'd look for support to form. and look for the minor time frames to provide a price action catalyst. Above it, we've got this support though, so to me that could be a pretty good entry point if a catalyst was to present from above this 5,330 sort of region. Looking at GJ again, so the preference while we are consolidating heavily on the 30 and 15 would be for the 30 to close bullish engulfing and above the resistance. That is by far and away the clearer entry. 15 is the riskier entry. So we'll see. But my preference is to wait for a 30 closure above this 188.70, 720 roughly, and to the downside below 188.220. Gold is just struggling at the moment. A little bit slow since the last few candles, or this current candle. Mind you, having said that, it's still almost 50 pips in volume, so all right, let's watch GJ. Let you guys know if I will consider it. To bias, yeah, Nasdaq, same as S&P, same thing. You're looking for pullbacks to support buy it or continuation bias. Let's just watch GJ for a second, and I'll have a proper look at it. All right, looks like a pretty strong closure. About 26 pips as a stop based off the 15. Let's pop straight down. All right, the preference for me here is for this candle to close weak. Really weak bearish. Closing a 30 just above the resistance, above the consolidation. And your entry, the higher probability entries as it breaks the weak candles high. The further potential entry is just now as it breaks. You got a potential entry there. Your stop loss would be below the entry candle. It should be below the previous candle. You could manage it by adjusting it so the entry candle's low. It's the best at the moment. I'm not in it though. I prefer the 30-minute. Seeing we're coming from pure consolidation, I would much rather see the 30-minute close above. It's a stronger confirmation. It's just from experience. That's all. I'm happy to let it do its thing if it does go, and still watch gold. Gold could still present. It looks like it wants to make the move. But if anyone is taking GJ, your stop loss would be now probably below the entry candle's low. But again, I'm not in GJ at the moment. Yeah, I'm just following my rules, guys. Alright, so quickly looking at Nasdaq. Yeah, it's the exact same as S&P. You got a pretty clean entry point at around that 19 sort of level, where the previous count just rejected. So that to me is obviously a level that we want it to close above to look for buys. So at that point there, you're flipping the micro trend back bullish. The actual structure itself is bullish on the 30. You got all weekly forming a strong bullish candle now as well. You got daily structure bearish, but with counter probabilities. It's the exact same as S&P. Exact same. Very similar to gold at the moment as well. You've got 4-hour structure being bullish. Previous candle closed a weak bullish candle. Prices begin to break it. Good chance it could continue to the upside. 30-minute is definitely bullish. So therefore the bias is bullish. Be looking for buys from the support just now, above 1880, 880. Buys above the current 30-minute candle size, so 15-minute resistance, and buys from lower down as well. And aside from that, if we do reject, and right now creating a double top, it did pop back down below the bottom here, the support, and we're likely going to make a deeper pullback to create a lower low and perhaps retest that 18.65658 sort of region. So that could be a sell option. What to watch? Let's keep an eye on gold. I'm still holding buys from 2092. Nice one. Offline short soon on GJ. You could get the short options even if this thing pumps. You'd be looking for shorts from higher up. Yeah, if I'm in based off the 15, I'd be at break even here because I just don't trust it in the 15. Coming from consolidation like I do also with gold. Luke, is now a good time to invest. I'm quite new to all this. Again, I'm not investing. This is trading, my friend. Trading's not for everyone. Okay, it's by TP 189.54, 190.15. Some wide targets you may be holding for an intraday slash swing. Yeah, I'll be targeting 189.20. 189.50 is also a level it could reject. There it goes. One thing we did test on the weekend with my team, we tested the 15 out on GJ and wasn't great, in all honesty. The results weren't great in this sort of situation when the 15 was the pure catalyst, not even concerned by 30 so much, and the results weren't good, to be honest. So that's why I find it difficult to trust the 15, whereas gold, I know it's okay. I mean, for the most part, you're likely going to have, you know, probabilities on your side. Potato, bull or bear? Well, right now I'm not in anything, so carry US 30 will be the same. I'm assuming it's be the same as NAS. And yeah, it's the exact same. They're all the same. All the exact same. It got entry points to the upside from the support on US 30. For me, it's above 46.4750. Otherwise, buys from support. Confirmation above 44.3550. Get cheeky sells below it and buys from lower down. T780. It's my own funds. Alright, golding. At the moment, yeah, it's just chopping about into resistance. So let's see. 30 could close back bearish. Now it looks pretty ordinary on 30, but it could be grabbing liquidity from the upside, and within it we could have that bearish engulfing 15, which is a pretty strong catalyst. The issue will be stop loss again, so let's just quickly measure it. If it was to close, for instance, right at that low, you got about 53, 50, once you count for spread, 54, 55 pip stop. Once you count for spread, about 45 pip target. So it would once again come down to the next candle, the upper wick, which is what I did about 5-10 minutes prior to the stream. Well, right as the stream was pretty much beginning. It was just before it, sorry. Waited for the upper wick, got the confirmation, got the entry, grabbed my 10, got out quickly, and it's since bounced. I could look at the same thing. Once again, I just target 10. Honestly, the way it's mucking about, it would make sense, but I'm not going to try to I'm not going to be greedy, especially when it is counter trend at the moment. Franco, good morning to you, brother. Here is the link, by the way, for you guys. All right, so we'll keep an eye on gold. Han06 is asking if anyone's in longs on gold right now. Well, if you are, Mo is, so I'm sure there's a few others. Mr. Irish is 5,000 pound of XRP worth buying today. No idea. None of this is investment advice. I'm not an investor. I'm a trader. To the question mark. Hey Kings, go to you. Trust the process. 28 gold bullish. It is, but at the current level, kind of preferring ourselves. But if this thing was to flip and close weak bearish now in the next 4 minutes, then we could have options to buy it back up to the highs. Yet again, the same issue is going to be stop loss. So again, this is what I'm about to do. Use the fib, and this will determine whether or not I have a potential buy option moving forward on the following candle. Now, I'm going to mark in a 0.382, and what I want to see is for this candle to close weak bearish above that point, and what that would suggest to me is that there is a high probability that if we were to go on and break that candle's high on the next candle after creating a bit of a low wick, that we would make the move up towards the daily high and the 4-hour resistance yet again. So off the back of that, there could be options really in either directions shortly. We just need to wait for the right confirmation. So we could also have the options to buy it, but once again, lower wick requires a lower wick on the entry candle, because that is likely going to need to be used as the stop loss. And once again, don't be greedy, guys, because gold is, Mo mentioned, gold is golding. So it's quickly pushing 10-15 pips in a profit literally in seconds. Yesterday it was in straight away, like it was just instant. Today, prior to stream, it was the exact same thing. I got triggered in. I had a little bit of a tiny pullback right when I was triggered in, so about -6 pips, I think it was, and then just tanked to literally the 9.5, 10 pips. I think the most I was about 12, very similar to yesterday, very similar. And then secured it and popped straight back. GJ still not convincingly making a move up. I don't know if you would have quite got your partials ticked off just yet. 30 looks a mess. 30 looks absolutely terrible, so I'm kind of ignoring that. 15 looks a lot better. Question mark, believe next month will be crazy for gold. I believe gold is always up to things, always exciting to trade. How long do you trade Forex? Or how long have you been trading? Over 8 years. CAC P7R case, sorry again these names. You're in buys from 13.16 and 13.18. 31.16, 31.18. Nice one. Hopefully you are managing those trades and hopefully you don't take a loss. Depending on what your plan is, if you're scalping, you've got some pretty decent profits on the table. Bastian, yes, I am focused on the 15. Close like this, there is absolutely no confirmation at all to the downside or the upside. So let's see, let's just focus quickly for the time being. GJ I can see is pulled back. Not looking great on GJ. Alright, this thing has to just drop in 2 seconds. It's not going to do it. 30 would have been better if it closed right near its low. To be honest, seeing it's closed bearish. There is no entry for me. Let's quickly look at GJ. 30's closed back above now, leaving a long upper wick. It's just been one of those weeks. It really has not been so easy to get clean signals within price action. I think we've been, the last few weeks, we've been going really well on stream as far as having plenty of opportunities. This week's been a quieter one in regards to that, but all good. What are you guys planning at the moment? Is anyone considering selling gold?
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Update GJ confirmation for buy. Yeah, it's not anymore. Off the back of that rejection. Have we hold on, let me look at this properly. Actually, you know what? It is, because you got the closure above, you got the retest, still closed back bullish. It's just, I hate these wicks. I hate trading into them. I really don't like it, but technically it would be valid. What sort of margin is there? 18 pips. I would prefer at least the 5-minute closure above, to be honest, but yes, it's valid, but does it look good to me? Not really.
It sound right, boys.
Because I look at it like, why didn't this candle make the move? Why did it reject? There's something suspicious about it. It could make the move now though, for sure it could, but why did we reject already once on the previous candle, leaving a long upper wick? It doesn't make me confident, to be honest. Kyle, you'd also like to sell, pretty much looking for the same as you at the moment. Okay, yep. Selling gold, I think it's a liquidity grab on gold for 9 AM. Yeah, potentially. I mean, it's just, again, it's a bit tricky. I mean, next thing I can wait for is a weak pause on the 15, bullish candle, and look for a sell below that point. GJ pumping now, is it? Yeah, it's trying to make the move. It's just not ideal. Question mark, keep trading on gold in EU. Okay. Bastian, all good. Update Marla saying what strategy? My own. Analyze, confirm, trade. So it's a concoction of what I've learned over more than 8 years of experience on the charts, and I've been really committed to it. So I know exactly what works for me, and patience and discipline is enormous. It is by far the most important part of my trading. Because before that, when I didn't have patience and discipline, I just kept undoing every little bit of, you know, footsteps forward. I would just go back, you know, at double the pace. So it really comes down to patience. I know exactly what sort of confirmations are really strong on. I just don't have it at the moment. Much as I want to jump into trades, it's not what I do. I don't go onto the charts hunting trades. I come to charts wanting it before I look to take any trade, wanting it to prove to me why I should take a trade. It's only one step forward, four back. That's what it was. Honestly, that's what it was back in those days. Completely understood it, had a really good way of going about things, and it worked. But would take a loss or get bored because nothing looked really good and say, stuff, I'm just gonna buy it because it looks decent, and yeah, I'll justify it by, you know, high, low, whatever, only to get wrecked. And then want to jump back in, get wrecked a second time, would end up, you know, digging a much deeper hole. So experience tells me just to wait for your right moment. Mr. Delicious, this rate I don't have any confirmation. I was contemplating a sell. I was also contemplating a buy, but nothing was ticked off by the end of it, so I just need to wait for more data to print. Bastian, it has been bananas. Yep, moving very fast. Yeah, look, I can see options in either direction, but nothing's really presenting just yet. King of Waganda, do you trade pocket options? What's your thoughts? Pocket options is, for me, it's kind of like going to the casino and just having a bit of a flutter or having a bit of fun on the roulette table or something. That's my thoughts of pocket options. Look, it's something I was considering on a Friday evening, honestly, beer in hand, just for shits and giggles, chucking $100 on and seeing how far I could take it or how quickly I could lose it. Because yeah, to me, it's like, it is pure gambling. Now, the way I see it, yes, there are, you know, people have strategies, but look, I was testing out in the really lower time frames, like 30-second options and things like that, and that's how I sort of saw it, as like a bit of fun, to be honest. Doesn't mean that you probably, you know, doesn't mean you can't make money from it, but it's not for me. Jeremias, Asian's good, man. That's honestly, people knock it, but Asian session, for the most part, I reckon it's better than London when it comes to gold, for the most part, to be honest. That's the honest truth, but I'm rarely on the charts for Asian session. I'm usually doing things that I might need to do. You're trading 2 days a week? Okay. King of Wakanda, do you trade oh, yep, sorry, read that. Strategy, it's just or through it every stream. It's just based off 4 different time frames. Well, on gold, it's 5 different time frames. Which gives me an overall bias where I prefer to take trades in, direction I prefer to take trades in, but doesn't mean I'm purely fixated on that bias. I am fluid in the market, so I can change my opinion, but that is based off certain levels. So if we're at resistance and we're in an uptrend, kind of makes more sense to sell it than buy it. So I'm marking my levels based off the 4 hour and the minor time frames, the 15 on gold, 4 hour and 30 on GJ. And then I just wait for my catalyst to form where I want to get involved. So right now, what I was looking at was, that's the resistance. That was, if we were to reject, potentially form that lower high, which we've kind of confirmed. I needed a candle catalyst, which I didn't have. One bearish candle doesn't cut it against a pretty strong bullish candle. I need a little bit more than that. So I have some very strict rules that work for me. That I've, you know, been able to fine tune and sort of master it for my own sake over the past 8 years, more so the past 3-4. So I know exactly what I'm to look for in each situation. Right now, nothing is really valid for me on gold. So the preference is to get involved either side of the support and resistance, either to sell it back down, buy it back up, or buys above the resistance, sells below the support. But we still may have options in between. We have since formed minor resistance just at this point here. No real zone as such. There's no real wick on that bearish candle. But it closes above that point. As long as the stop loss isn't going to be a huge one, we could potentially look to buy it back up. So there could be still some options on gold here. Once again, I just need to wait for the right confirmation. I don't use fair value apps or any of that stuff. Not interested in it. Yeah, see right now, again, GJ. My plan was to wait for the closure above. This candle left a long upper wick that puts me off, and we are pulling back in again. So again, it's intuition as well in between. That comes with the years of experience. GJ almost TP, yeah. Again, I'm not fast. It's not quality enough. Jeremiah, UJ. Joshua, gold buys, no sells on gold. Only buys, fair enough. Alright, so UJ and EU. Let me quickly. UJ looks very similar to the indices that we spoke about at the beginning of the early into the stream. So for me, buys above. This is just a quick synopsis of UJ. So within the current daily candle, we are forming bearish. Previous daily closed a liquidity candle, lower low, higher high, closed back strong bullish. Let me just remove the drawings. The 4 hour is, well, still technically bearish. We have rejected a last significant lower high on that time frame as well. We are trying to form support current level. 30-minute is bullish. So I mean, based off that, you could look for options to either the side. You got some very clean traffic below the daily low. We have bounced off it. If we were to retest it, close below it, clean traffic to the left, I'd be waiting for the retest of that zone, look for options to sell it. On the way down, we have formed most recently resistance at the point here at that, whoops. Let me just mark it properly. 146.986. Therefore, you're probably best above 147 flat. It's probably a bit of resistance in a 15. All right. You'd be looking at entries above 147 flat. You want a closure above the resistance here, retest, continuation. And that's pretty much it on UJ. EU. Similar. Same thing, buys from support, buys above the resistance, most recent resistance form. same thing. Daily's forming bearish. Candle itself. No, candle itself's forming bullish. Sorry. Jumped the gun a bit. Yeah, EU, I'd be looking for the buys from lower down. Sellers, you're not going to have the margin at the moment, or the buyers above the resistance. Back to the gold. Still mucking about. GJ looks like it's trying, so eventually made the move. All right, well done if anyone did take it, but again, it's just not perfect enough for me to risk some hard-earned cash on. What else? Do you trade AUD pairs? Starting to look at GA. I don't really like trading the Aussie pairs much, to be honest. Mind you, they've been moving. I mean, AU has been moving with real volume of late, especially with all the Aussie cops it big time when there's any announcement of trade wars. Especially, obviously, China is the main, one of the main countries involved. The main country other than the US, and anything that affects China affects us here in Australia, so as they are our major trade, our main trade partner. GA, I mentioned it before. What happened to, I swear I had the chart, did I delete it? GA, you want closures back up, pretty much back above this point on the 30. Yeah, a little pause back above the resistance here will be nice, and then close the M30 strong bullish above this support, and there could be options at the back of that. But again, it's, look, less is more, guys, in this game. I had one of my newer team members contact me earlier. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me mentioning it. I won't mention his name, but about his last few weeks, try to pretty much trade anything, any pair, and he's found he got wrecked. So what I mentioned about less is more, it makes total sense. Then you're not just going to take half-ass trades on 10 different pairs. You'll be focused on one or two. You're going to wait for a quality entry. It's all about discipline, not stress it enough. No matter how much you feel you understand it, you need to have a plan. It needs to be a solid one, and you need to just stick to that plan. Show the 1 hour time frame? Question mark. Yeah, it looks a mess as well. It looks shit house across the board. Timmy, GJ thoughts, was considering options to get involved in a buy, but in like a rejection of this candle. So now I've been waiting for price to react to the current level. It is a resistance. I mean, time and time again on these streams too, guys, may appear like nothing's going to happen, and then right at the very end I get a valid entry. So I know not to stress it. Suriti, just wanted to really clear away from this crap. It's really tough at the moment. I mean, potentially buys above 31.25.50. Sells, I'm not so convinced. Need a little bit more data to print before I can come up with a more solid plan for the sells, if it from the current level, if there is to be. Alpha King, you're treading a very fine line, my friend. I don't muck around with anyone who mentions anything of their own, any service or whatever. I ban them. I'm not sure if that's what you're doing. Just be careful, guys. Don't be daft. If someone sends you a DM, don't be stupid enough to just answer it and believe everything you read and see. And I would never ever send anyone initiate contact. If you guys want to contact me, you know how to do so. I always reply. Normal CV. Suritis. EJ. Well, the pairs look a lot of them look very similar. EJ is a little bit messier though. It's real shit consolidation at the moment. EJ is a mess. It's very ugly. It's retested the zone I'd marked in from God knows when, probably a few days back. Maybe yesterday, I'm not sure. Weekly is forming strong bullish, does have a lower high, lower low. Daily consolidation, pure mess. Structure wise, bullish. Previous candle was bullish. 4 hour. Not even sure, to be honest. It's just a mess with that gap as well. The way I see it's technically bearish. Some resistance. Yeah, so the daily low form support we're bouncing off it just now. If we were to continue bullish, there is not much of a need for us to pop back below that point there. If we do so, it could lead to a bigger sell-off. So I'd be looking for closure below, retest continuation. Below 168.80. As far as buys, really can't see much clean traffic to the upside. The best option, if you were to look from the current level, would be to wait for it to close above 161.424. Let's quickly look at it on the 15. Yeah, it's the bearish candle wicket. Still got that to the left. But seeing we're at the daily lower form, that support, we'll be bouncing off it, breaking the most recent resistance, the highest point of the resistance formed on the before we form the daily low. Closure above, retest, and you've got potentially enough to scalp a trade up to first target 161.60 and then potentially 161.90, 162 flat. Off goes GJ. Turning all markets will humble you every time. You gotta respect this. It's true. It's so true. I have a hard time trying to drum it into people because, you know, I'm on stream. I should be in trades left, right, and center constantly, but it's not true. It's not. If you want to be successful in trading, you gotta learn to first of all the importance of patience and discipline. UJ, did have a look at it before. Again, mentioned it's very similar to the indices. Essentially closing above here. Is it a 30 closure? It will be. So UJ is looking good. This is perfect. This is what I want to see. Be waiting patiently 7.5 minutes for the closure above. Then I'll wait for. Oh, I need to wait for a lower wick to retest. Still want to see a lower wick. And you can look for a potential continuation buy, in my opinion, on UJ. It's looking pretty good. UJ continuing straight bullish. Not quite a liquidity candle here. We're not broken higher than the previous candle. It's got a lower high, potentially a low if it breaks. It's not looking great. Once again, the 5 minutes looking the best, but it's just too tight of a area for me to worry about the 5. I need to just wait for a stronger confirmation. Thank you to all the new followers. EJ, yeah, just did it. So you're currently in a sell, looking slow. Okay, Harry. Van City 668. What's a good broker to use? Gotta be careful because I don't want to get my. I'm on my last warning, so not sure if it'll trigger it or not. So I'm very cautious by advising people in that respect. You'll hear me accidentally mention it. That's starts with I, next letter C, and then you can work out the rest. Pretty reputable broker. Just type in IC and then trading. Just type in Forex trading. It'll come up. No name. What's your rule of thumb when it comes to massive imbalances like GJ at the moment? I don't trade imbalances. You're talking about this move up and build that the margin to the upside. This, I just wait for it to, again, for a signal to arise. Pure price action. So for me, didn't trust the move down here, so I'm not going to just buy it upon continuation. I'm going to wait for either it to reject, maybe form support and pop below resistance here, or maybe options to sell it. Or the buyers, I'm likely just going to have to wait for it to pull back. That's plain and simple. Or if nothing else, perhaps consolidate above this point here, trigger in some sellers, form resistance, close above the minor resistance. That's when I might be able to trust it again. I need to let it reset so I can get a better stop loss and everything. So that's my thoughts on GJ. Harry? Yeah, called it, but didn't take it. Wasn't so keen on. So the analysis was correct, but had I taken it, I would have been stuck in a bit of drawdown too. So gold is a filthy mess at the moment. Tell me that's it. Yeah, thank you. I should just type it in, shouldn't I? Also depends where you are located as well. All right, GA looking interesting. $15 doesn't look fantastic. You do have some resistance. Alright, this is a bit better on gold. So you want weak bullish and then a strong bearish candle. Still giving us margin. As long as the stop loss isn't too wide. So that will have to be a little bit further into the open. At the moment, this is not what we want to see. Weak bearish candle closures, an inside bar candle as well. It just makes it very difficult. Harry, gonna be slow movement till news. Could be. Shokak. Hello to you. I already took a chance in waiting for TP at 189, 660. Okay, nice one on GJ. Nice one, man. Sujan PI network, never heard of it. No name, further to left, massive imbalances. Would price not want to retrace into it? Well, I'm not. What time frame, mate? Yeah, I'm not concerned. I'm just concerned how I can get a quick scalp at 10, 15, 20, 30. You know, if I get a runner, 40, 50 pips. So I focus on the most immediate areas and price action, basically. Elon, good day to you. Zilal, welcome. All right, 40 seconds until London Open. Don't really have anything at the moment. 30 is an absolute mess on gold. It looks ugly. GJ still forming quite strong to the upside. It's like we could even pop above and close above the resistance here. Way too late to buy it. GA rejecting at the moment. Let's watch GJ briefly. Yeah, nothing there. Alright, so gold now. Likely the options for me would be still above 31.2550, or if we were to close below the bullish counter wick here on the next 15. So we've formed some minor support just now at 31.20, so below, just below that point. Could potentially get some options to sell it back down towards the support here, which is, if I'm not mistaken, no, it's not the daily though, but a support form within the daily counter itself around at 3,115 to 12. Again, man, Alpha King, you got to be very careful because I'm about to boot you, my friend. I'm sorry. Be really careful, guys. If anyone tries to DM you, just ignore it. Sujan, no idea. I don't even know what it is, to be honest. Yeah, bro, I've got QQQ spread that expires the 11th. Any predictions for you in the market today and tomorrow? QQQ, that isn't that NASDAQ? Isn't that an ETF? I thought it was a NASDAQ ETF. I could be wrong. Well, if it is NASDAQ related, I mean, for NASDAQ, I'll be looking for buys above 19.0279 above the resistance. Sells below support here at 18.840. And if it does make a clear move back down to that support, I'd be willing to look for buys. If I was to trade it from that point. Alright, gold is the focus. Let's see. No impulse entries. This closed well above the 0.382. Aaron, well, welcome, brother. I hope all is well with you. Good to see you on the stream. Offline. Thoughts on duress? Have none. EU. I'm assuming that's what you meant. have no idea what you're referring to, duress. Yeah, so I mentioned before, buys above the resistance at daily high. Looks like based on the 15, there's a little bit of scope for room to sell it below the support. And look, it also because it's tapped into it most recently, so that now it becomes a really nice entry point to the downside. It is a level of liquidity, which was a previous zone here to the left. That price tapped into only to reject and close back up near its high. So if we were to wipe that candle out and close below the point here at 109.609, that'd be a really nice option to take a sell back down towards current daily candles low. And otherwise buys above 109.950. Gold is definitely tricking people out again. Requires enormous patience, so it's all good. Harry, you think you're gonna hold these sells until 97? Yeah, okay. On you, I'm assuming you're talking about gold. In Nudin, you mean Bitcoin? 63k. Pretty strong support just above it. Wow, gold is literally all over the shop at the minute. Balance, thank you for sharing live. Okay, you're gonna sell at 25. All right. Yeah, we'll have a plan, trade management plan. You're well in profit, so just be careful. You don't want to get wrecked from this far up. Vishal, good day to you, mate. GJ. Yeah, was looking at buys from here. Unfortunately, couldn't find my way in. Very impulsive at the moment. There is nothing for me on GJ. I really probably now just need to wait for it to pull back, see if it forms support. Create that higher low within the micro trend above 188.70 or potentially 188.20. Sells pretty far off at the minute. The only way I can really consider sells is if this closes, for instance, perhaps where it's at just now, and then we get a weak bullish closure on the next candle, and then I might be able to potentially get involved on a break of the weak bullish candles low. So it would be before it actually breaks low of the wick of the 30 itself. That's my opinion as of now. Gold again pulling back, so as I've mentioned all throughout, if you are trying to trade gold, don't be greedy. If you're a scalper, honestly, especially if you're trying to sell it, I'd take my 10 and happily get out of there. Harry, got good enough pips before it. Nice one. Nine, it will pay up. What is your bias for at this moment? Waiting on gold. I mean, it's likely now to make the move down, seeing it's broken the support, but how many times does it pop straight back up? So I'm waiting for a closure, but I have to accept that I'm likely not going to be able to get the move I want. So I need to reassess. Still got just under 7 minutes remaining. If it closed where it is just now, or back closer to its low, I still may have an option to sell it. It would be just enough margin to sell it. once again, stop loss will be the major issue. So just chilling on gold. Shakak. And these names so difficult for me. Welcome to you again. Hello to you once again. UJ? Alright, it's a shit closure again. It's similar to GJ, left a long upper wick, which is very off-putting. It's really off-putting. The best thing you could do now on UJ is wait for this close to close. The rule I would set is wait for this to close weak bearish above the resistance. If that is, like for instance, how it is just now, that is to be the case, I'd wait for a lower wick on the next 15 and I'd be entering just above the 15-minute candles high. A little bit prior to breaking the previous 30 candles high, you're getting in earlier. Feel it's a better option. So that's personally what I would be waiting for on UJ. Shouldn't be triggered into any buys either way if you're looking to buy it off the back of the catalyst 30-minute closure above, because it's not yet split back and broke the high of that previous candle. Wow, GJ. Jeremias, London Real Beacon stepping in on GJ. John, now I'm starting following it. Thank you so much. See if your flowers from Malawi. Thank you. You're more than welcome. Dougal. So I was waiting to see if gold would close below this most recent support and look to sell it back down, but it's just broken on impulse, and for me that was too strong of a bullish candle to take an impulse entry and breaking that candle's low. So I really could just remove that zone now and focus on price popping back down to 31.15 and look for it to form support above that point and wait a price action catalyst. Now there could be a slightly earlier entry to the upside if, for instance, the next candle begins to pop back above what will be the resistance if this candle closes bearish in 3 minutes. So yeah, it'll all come back down to stop loss placement and things like that. Otherwise, potentially be looking for options to buy above 31.25.50. Kugutsu, welcome. Sell. No, was considering it, but I wanted a confirmation closure and it's making a move, so nothing. Nelly, first time streaming your channel, please. What time frame? I'm looking at the 15-minute time frame on gold at the moment. Welcome to you. Make sure to follow if you are new to the stream. Shakak, help with what? HG? I'm not in any trade at the moment. Not fast. Really not fast. Plus, I've already grabbed a quick 10 pips earlier today, so it's not. Again, I wait for the right moment. When it presents, I'll let you guys know if it presents, but that's it. That was the exact. It could not be any closer to the same trade that took on yesterday's stream. That quick little scalp on gold. Forex, yeah, what are you thinking about gold? At this rate, waiting to see what happens at 31.15. Or potentially now, if we close back above 31.22.70. Alright, so we're about to confirm that minor resistance. Could now be a potential entry point to the upside if we close above it. Alright guys, I will be back in just 1 minute. Don't go nowhere. Right guys, I am back. It's like nothing much has changed. Gold trying to still make its way down. There is no margin to sell it. Jeremiah's current M15 bearish candle on GJ, very low on volume, potential long entry. Projection from 61.8 FIB. London is known for hunting Asian liquidity. Fair enough. That's fair enough. That's what you're looking at. I see it as there was a lot of volume in that previous candle, so to buy it against that, the strength of that candle on the back of 15 is quite risky. But again, that's the beauty of Forex trading. We can all have different opinions, and I might be waiting for what I believe is a stronger confirmation, and you might be able to get involved already, securing profits. Who knows? There's so many different ways to get involved, guys. I just stick to my strengths. I suggest you guys do likewise. But yeah, well done, man. 9 ill payout. Yes. Live not funded. Right? That's not futures. We're trading spot gold here. Forex AR. Potentially from lower down or above 31.22. really not done much since London Open. But yeah, XAUUSD, same thing. GC is the futures, gold futures. We're trading spot gold here. No, I'm not in any trade just at the moment. The only trade I've taken today was very early doors. Did I set buy limit at 3,111? No, I don't set limits in that based on whatever level that is. I don't know if it's a fib or whatever it is. Nah, to be honest, limit orders I use very differently. Usually requires a catalyst prior to it, so in a few different ways. You guys just got to watch and wait for it to present, and you'll hear me go over it. Or waiting resistance. I'm waiting for either price to pop above, close above 31.2270, or come back down to support 31.15 to 12.80 roughly. See what happens. H bar Jack. Yeah, I'm not really into the lower cap altcoins. I'm not even into trading crypto, so this is more Forex, gold as well, trading stream. I've had a look at gold, Bitcoin, sorry, and my opinion of it. I mean, it's right now in the middle of a range, pretty choppy in the 30. Best to wait for price to clear it, or even make a clear move up for rejection, or clear move down for support to form, and try to pick up the pieces. So GJ looking like it's still struggling and may still come back down further, so hence why there is no way I could just buy it at that level without a confirmation. Always mention it, guys, trading's boring. I think a lot of time people chase the exhilarating feeling of being in a trade, and they feel a need to be in a trade. Makes them feel better, especially if it's a win. If it's not a win, they feel worse and need to find the next trade. I do it completely different. Boring is what works for me. Discipline, patience, all that. Waiting for the right moment. Do which one? The boring patient trader, or the one that wants to be in every 5 minutes? In every 5 minutes? Look, some can make it work for them, but I feel it's a little bit more difficult. Puts more stress on yourself and your account. Not suggesting that what I do is any better, but for me it is. It's definitely better. Patience and discipline. Now gold is popping back up. Again, I need the confirmation. I need closure above. Need it to give me enough margin to this level, and I need for the new candle to create a low wick that's decent enough to trust for the stop loss. So there's still a lot of water to flow under the bridge before I can tick off any buy on gold. Matthias, are you talking about seeking trades? Yeah, I think I'm talking about quite a lot of you in the chat, to be honest. Do you force some trades? Not good. It's not very reckless, leads to quickly diminishing your equity in most cases. Harrying you to all-time high today, potentially. Back to Matrix. It doesn't look like it wants to at the moment. Dougal definitely need more discipline. It really was a game changer for me. Mucky Sage. No, I need a confirmation. 20 pips. Just want to see this close above first of all. Alright, so people that went short on gold didn't get stopped out. Not sure, depending on their trade management, but likely. Here's little old me just waiting. GJ is in the meantime is dying. So it could be options lower down. Looks like it's moving the same as GC. Yeah, it's the same thing, man. One's futures, one's... Yeah, the main difference is the time. But for the most part, they're similar. They should be. It's the same asset that's being traded. Dougal, yes. Same time on YouTube. So if you guys can't find me on TikTok, I may have got that final strike on my account. You know, you can find me on YouTube. Forex AR. No, I need to wait 4 minutes for the closure above. Is making £400 from a £20 account good? Shouldn't have to answer that. I think it's pretty obvious. That's... Wait, doing the math, that's amazing. Trading view. Right, this is trading view. We go rejecting just now, so there is just no clear signal for me. Nothing I can do about that. I just chill. Right, no, I used to use them. They're a good broker for sure. Highly reputable. Customer service, I believe, second to none. The only issue I found was the spreads were a little bit too wide for me, even on the raw spread account. In gold, you're still looking at just over 2 pips, 2.5, 3 pips, which just, yeah, I really don't want it to be more than about 1.5 pips. With 2 pips max. And even GJ, you're looking at a minimum of around 2 to 2.5, 3 pips, so. Forex AR, can you say how much you want for a buy? What I want to see for a buy is the closure above, like I mentioned before. Still might happen, but at the moment it looks like it's gonna struggle to do so. It's rejecting. So I need closure above, I need a lower wick. And lower wick will have to be a decent enough one, so preferably tapping back into below this resistance, and I'd have to trust that for my stop loss, because stop loss is way too wide if I'm to base it off the current candle, the 15-minute candle. But the minute doesn't look like we're going anywhere. WS London trader, g'day to you. Harry, it's taken just over a month and I'm still in college, so I have a lot of spare time. Okay, mate, well, you're doing something right, so, mate, you know, kudos to you. Just keep at it. If, to be honest, man, I wouldn't let anyone, if that's your results, I wouldn't let anyone influence what you're doing, because it's working. So just chill, keep doing what you're doing. Gold rejecting, there is not the margin to sell it. That's my issue. Right, you can't trade gold. Okay. You based in the US by any chance? No, based off the 4 hour and 15, more so on gold. 4 hour and more so 30, but yeah, also 15 a bit on GJ. So again, I start and I adjust it. So I initially would have had, I think it was that sort of body, closest body to the highest point of any bearish candle. That's the 4 hour, then I adjust it accordingly on the 30. So it's the closest body. What we can see on the 30, it's a bullish candle wick. And on the 15, it's very respective of being bullish candle wick. You could keep it in that point because it's the high for 4 hour resistance. So you'd have to keep it in there actually. And I just adjust again to 15 on gold. The downside is not a 4 hour support, it's a 30-minute support, 15-minute support. Lowest point to the closest body, which happens to be the same candle. Just rejected on gold. Look at that for a final rejection. You have to be almost Superman to manage your trades at the moment. Because you're in your... For me, if you're waiting for an upper wick, you don't get it first of all. If you're waiting for this candle to close, it just pops straight down anyway, the new candle. So you're likely going to get slipped on your TP. You'd still be in profit though, because it's just melting. It is just very, very tricky. And I've said it to my guys all throughout the week, just be careful because things are a bit all over the shop at the moment. Just be really patient. Don't force anything. It's okay not to trade. It is, because if you're on the wrong end of this, you could really get annihilated. Even if you have a stop loss set, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get triggered where you set it. You could get slipped. I've been slipped on stop loss many a times in the past when you have volume coming in. So you just need to be chilled about it. Don't stress it. You're going to see the candles move like crazy. It's not always fantastic for us. It's good, it's exciting, but sometimes it's almost just too difficult, and that's one of it's this occasion that's pretty much that's how it is. It's making it very difficult to find what I believe are quality entries personally. Eager duck. Not at the moment. Just chill and wait to see how this 15 closes. There's probably only one way I can get involved on the following candle next to M15. That's if this closes weak bearish. If the new candle opens up without an upper wick and just drops, and then an impulse buy with the anticipation this support's going to hold. And again, it's very, very risky. It's not high quality because you don't have confirmation. You'll still be closing bearish. Now for the sells, it needs to close below. Close below, and again, you need an upper wick. That would be the stop loss. Kagutsu, will it create a fair value? I don't trade fair value gaps. Right. Oh, okay. In US. I already started 6 months ago and made back all losses from before. Nice one, mate. Back to Matrix using the order block London session. No name, all good. Would be great to retest 30.98. Some resistance here, yeah. Be a nice area. I'm gonna daily. Not much on the daily at that point. Lines up with the 4 hours the week on its bearish candle, so yeah. I think it is a decent level for it to potentially pull back to. How much have you made so far? Jeffa? I had a win on gold, a small win prior to the stream. WS London trader, strong support. It is, but it's so far it's breaking, so we'll see if it closes below it. Right, I love the move MNQ made today. Okay. Franco will do a break, come back in 20 minutes. Markets are all good for an entry. All good, mate. All good. All good, brother. I'm not sure if I'll still be on. I might be. Who knows? All I can say is, if I'm to find a way in on gold, you guys need to be extremely quick with managing it, because I'm not going to muck around with it. I'm going to get to break even as quickly as possible and accept fact that it may take me out. It may even slip my break-even position and tag me out in a loss. Who knows? You need to understand all this, guys. When the volatility is as it is, you're not going to guarantee being triggered in at a level you want or have set the order at, and you're also not going to get guaranteed to be triggered out at the exact level you've TP'd at. Sometimes you're going to get slipped on that and you're going to take an even bigger win, which is good, and vice versa if it goes against you. So you need to be cognizant of all these possibilities happening. The up market manipulation. So you think it could be triggering in sellers? They back up. I could almost consider a limit order as well if this closes significantly below. Another thing I mentioned to my guys during the pre-MY call yesterday was what would normally validate the limit order on a zone to zone entry. I feel when there's so much volume in the markets, we have to adjust the criteria for that, because usually it has to be 8 to 10 pips above or below to validate any sort of limit order, the strong enough closure. But in this case, the volume is so crazy, a 10 pip closure below looks like nothing. It looks like a pip or two. So we just pretty much got to eyeball it when it comes to the limit order. The strength of it is a really strong. I mean, right now gold is just taking a piss, to be honest. It's a tough one, guys. Not much I can do about it. So we'll chill, wait for this candle to close in the 15. We'll reassess, see if there are going to be any options. Harry, I don't predict the news. I don't trade it as well. I'm aware of it, just in case it is being released when I'm on the charts, but I won't trade into it, or I safely wait for it to be out of the, or factored in, priced in, once it's been released if I am to trade again. WS London traded. It needs a pullback before making all-time high. Last time was the same. It was near all-time high and then big drop to support level. Yeah, potentially. Makes sense. Needs to wait patiently. Yeah, the buys from lower down would be fantastic. Sorry guys, just, yeah, a bit bugging. Alright, so the minute AU is moving it opposite direction to the other majors for whatever reason. Yeah, he's making a bit of a move. Yeah, it looks like there's a fair bit of strength in the pound and the euro at the minute. Alright, now it's breaking to the downside. I'm assuming US30 is probably following gold as well. Wow, US30 is really dropping. That was a potential entry too. Did call it before. Closure below, upper wick. Pretty much tapped in. So anyone paying attention could have possibly got involved in that. Again, just goes to show, just wait for your catalyst, and if it does present, there's a good chance you're on the end of a decent move. Gold now. Tom Forster could potentially hit 3,000 mark. Yeah, still that's a long way off. How are you going to wait for 3,100? I mean, that's not bad. Psychological round number. Ali, it's just because, I mean, it's a lot of news about as well in regards to tariffs and all that. It's just been tricky. Been really tricky. There's a lot of news to come as well. The limit order for that to be valid, it really needs to close stronger. So shitty close, in all honesty. By the looks of it, 30 seconds left. Has to drop, has to really drop for there to be any potential limit order sell. And like I mentioned before, for the buys, it needs to close back above. It's not going to do that. Yes, it's popped down in the last second. Definitely not strong enough. It's about 7 pips below. Doesn't tick the box for a limit order. It's tough, guys. I'm sorry. At least not like before. Yeah, but it happens, man. It happened about a month ago as well, about 3 weeks ago, and lasted about a week. So what happens? This is another week because there's so much talk of tariffs and whatnot. They've been postponed for the time being. I think, except for maybe China's, I'm not sure. So that's why it will die down eventually, and it will be more friendly. Don't stress it. I know from experience, just chill when it's like this. No need to try to get involved. Limit only right at the very. It wasn't even when the stream was actually running. To be honest, I did send it out to my members group, by the way. Gave them a bit of warning about it. And that was it. Just a quick 10 counter trend scalp on gold. That was it for me, mate. It's been twice yesterday on stream. We got a really quick 10 pips on gold as well. And it completely went the opposite direction not long after it. So it was, again, just a quick counter trend scalp using simple price action. Vishal already short in gold, also entered EU short. Can you also check? Not sure why you shorted EU, to be honest, mate. You can see the 30 is, could argue it's bearish. Could also argue it's still bullish, but no, it is bearish. But shorting it, it's just broken out of consolidation. Strong closure above. To be honest, I feel it could continue up. Then again, is that resistance? Anything could happen. Yeah, I'd want to see strong confirmation to sell it though. EU can buy. Nah, for me, I wouldn't be buying it. It's made a big push out of the consolidation. Fortunately, you need to wait for the confirmation, and in doing so, it's pretty much tapped into the target. This resistance, and to the left, you've got just level after level. It's pretty ugly, to be honest. Pull back, form support. That's the cleaner option. Value is bearish, 1 hour, and currently tapped. Good fair value up. All right, fair enough. Again, I don't see it as bearish. I see it as the 1 hour is bullish. That's the high, that's the swing point. Anything between is bullish. But again, I do things differently. Not sure if this is the same Vishal that was in my group. So if it was, then you should probably know how I determine structure. And for me, it's bullish as long as we remain above this point, to be honest. We've not closed above the impulse high, nor have we closed above the pullback in the opposite direction. We've got pauses just here. So one candle, another single candle pause. So it doesn't turn to me doesn't represent a swing. Jeremiah, UJ. So the buys would have never been triggered in, and the sell's looking good for close below. Same idea, retest. Maybe it's just grab liquidity from the upside in order to head back down. Short setup looking good, yep. Harley, okay, nice one. So just chill. That's what I'm gonna do because the markets are shit. So all good. Markets aren't providing me any sort of catalyst. I'm not gonna stress it. Again, from experience, I know, just chill. What I would suggest is if this closes weak bullish back below, leaving an upper wick, sells will look pretty good below this candle's low on the following candle. That is probably the only potential entry moving forward. The only other maybe thing I might consider is if this closed bullish engulfing, but the same issue is going to be needs to wait for it to create a low wick. Use that as a stop loss, and you have to trust it. It's not ideal. So that's it. But I'm gonna get cracking, guys. I'm gonna go chill. It's nothing for me. I'm not gonna force it. So that's it. Thank you for joining. Hope you guys trade safe. Don't do anything stupid. Got news to come later on today, and I should be more than likely on tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that, for notification. And I'll catch you guys likely then, otherwise next week. So take care, guys. Do trade safe. Cheers. Thank you for joining. Make sure to follow if you haven't done so. And I'll catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.